Hey there neighbors, Kevin here with Etrailer, and today we have a 2017 Jayco Eagle Fifth Wheel trailer that we are going to be trying out our Thomas Payne Furniture in. And today I've got two different recliners here that we're going to be taking a quick look at and kind of just showing you how they go together. But the first thing I wanted to kind of go over is figuring out how we're going to get these into our trailer. Obviously, there's a lot of different furniture options. There's a lot of sizes out there. Not every single piece of furniture is going to fit in your trailer. So the first thing that you should always do is come over to your entry door that you're going to be going through and then measuring from the flange to flange because we want to know how much open space we have to pass through. So on our current setup, we've got about 28 3/8. So we're well over the 26 inches that they require to get our recliners in. Now past that point, you should also kind of try and take into account any other obstacles that might be in your way. As you can see, right when we walk in, we have a bedroom right here with a door that's closed. So that's going to kind of block us from really being able to turn things around. It might make it a lot harder to get a couch in and out of here. Now with our recliner, might be a little bit easier because these break down pretty well. Now if we look at the back here, this is essentially how it's going to come shipped to you. Obviously it's going to be wrapped up and have a cardboard box around it, but it should be separated into two pieces. Now I'm going to bring in the back and get that inside, and then we can grab our base, and I'll show you getting that inside as well so that you can kind of gauge how it will fit when it goes in your trailer. All right, I've got my base now. This feels probably close to like 35, 40-ish pounds. So this is something I could do myself. And I'm going to turn it on its side to walk it through and just kind of work my way around this corner here. Since I've got a doorknob in the way. Now once we have both pieces inside of our trailer, this is going to go together in just a few seconds. We've got two tracks that we're going to need to slot into. One right here, one right here. And that's going to mash up with our little framing that's right here. So we'll lift up the little cover on the back, which you can see has some hook and loop fastener. That's going to also tie in on the bottom here. Once we lift that up, you can see there's more of it right here. And that'll help hold that in place. Now the hardest part is really just kind of lining the two up. I like to try and get one in place first and then kind of use my hand to help the other one get in. Once you have them both in the track, push down with the top, and then now you have it locked into place. If you were going to remove this, removal is just as easy as well. It's got a little tab right here. You'll pull up on that tab, and then you'll be able to lift the back right up out of the base. All right, now we can put our cover down, and like I said, it's just that hook and loop fastener, so really simple to get on and be all complete. Now once you have your recliner in place, the next step is going to be positioning it so that way you can still have that fully recline. Now this one's going to need 15.5 inches from the back of our headrest to the wall. Now my little shutter here is kind of in the way a bit, but we're sitting right around 15, so I realistically should move this up a little bit more, which means that we have quite a bit of space behind here that's kind of just dead. Obviously you could throw maybe some blankets, pillows, other things like that to keep them out of the way. Maybe have a little table that's thinner sitting behind here so that way you got something to set your drink on. But this is probably going to be about it, just because I want to be able to fully recline this back. So like right here we're almost touching the wall, just a little bit in the center here. Might move it up just a bit more, see if we can get, yeah, we get a little bit more recline out of that. So I will go the full 15.5, but honestly, in our camper today, that kind of has us sitting over our slide out pad here because this is the edge of it with our carpet. So this would really kind of start to eat into some of our space. This might be something where you need to have a little bit more room for this to live. So now that we have both of our seats in here, that is honestly going to do it for the installation. Like I said, it's that simple. You just pop in the backer and then put on your little cover on the back with the hook and loop fastener, and you're all ready to go. There is nothing else really to do besides maybe when you go into that travel position. I personally don't like having all this open space back here, where maybe this could kind of move back and forth. Now this is pretty heavy once it's all kind of together, to where I wouldn't worry about it moving around. Say you have like a bumpy ride, you're really hitting some rough roads. This isn't something where it's going to go flying around your RV. It's heavy enough to sit there to where you're not going to have to screw it into the floor. But like I said, I personally would want to kind of just scoot that all the way back up against the wall, and then whenever we get in our camper to enjoy our time again, we can just slide it forward enough to where we can recline it again. So today we have two different color options for you to check out. Now there are a few others. If the tan and the darker tan here don't really match up with the aesthetics of your trailer, go ahead and check out Matt's video on the other pushback recliners so you can see a couple more color schemes and see what's really going to work with your specific layout. Now these are super easy to put together, super easy to actually use. There is no mechanics to this that you'll have to kind of pull on. There's no pull cord, there's no latch, nothing like that. All you'll simply have to do is just sit back in your seat. Once you push back on the back here, it's going to push up on the footrest, and you'll slowly start to slide back. Now you can stop that at this position right here where you're sitting, but you still got a little bit of a recline, or you can fully go back and recline. Now I've got this a little bit closer where my head's hitting the wall, but obviously you can kind of get the picture here if I had a little bit more room. Now both of these couches are made with a polyhide polyester, which is going to feel more like a leather material on here. So this is something where you will be able to wipe it down. Say you spilt some food or a drink on it, you can easily come by with a towel, wipe it down, clean it off. Definitely use more of a gentler, mild soap with it and some water. Maybe not any kind of harsh chemicals that could potentially react with the fabric. Aside from that, these chairs are pretty big and comfortable, so why don't we take some actual measurements and see if this is going to be the right fit for you. Now, for the width of our seat from arm to arm, it's going to be right at 21, maybe a little bit over at like 21 1/8. And then just to the edge of the cushion here, not pushing in on it, going out, we're sitting at right around 21 1/2 inches. So a lot of room here, a lot of real estate. Going upwards, up the back, we're sitting right around 23, maybe 22 3/4. Kind of hard to tell exactly, but we got a nice long back on there. And then for those of you height-wise, if you don't like your knees sitting too low to where your feet are dangling, or you don't like if your knees are too high up because you have such a small, like lowered seat, let's get that measurement as well. So from the ground up, while the feet are on, that's going to put us right at around 19 inches. So pretty normal height-wise there for the majority of couches out there on the market in the RV. So overall, I do really like these recliners specifically. I've tried out a few other options. I just recently did the Euro recliners as well. Those have their benefits and their shortcomings compared to these as well. I do like how these feel comfortability-wise. These are a lot more cushiony. Armrests feel a little bit better. The bigger thing is you have to sit so far forward with this, or you have to have so much clearance at the back, because you're getting another 5 1/2, almost 6 inches of clearance compared to some of the other options out there that are still going to give you that recline action. Now this one definitely does a little bit better because it reclines a little bit more. So like if I put this out, it goes out more than some of the other options out there. And like I said, it really comes back to that comfortability. This is something where I feel like I could easily fall asleep in it and still be comfortable, whereas with some of the other options, not always the case. The only downfall is I feel like I would have to constantly move this back and forth. So if that's something where you're not wanting to have that extra step when you go to set up your camper, maybe this isn't going to be the right fit for you unless you have that extra space. So with all that being said, that is going to do it for a look at and installation of the Thomas Payne Pushback RV Recliner in both the driftwood and in the Satchela color here in our 2017 Jayco Eagle Fifth Wheel trailer. My name's Kevin, and if you still have some questions about what's going to be the right piece of furniture for your RV, or you need help with the installation, please feel free to reach out to us via our Ask the Experts link, a comment on this video, or a phone call to our customer service department, and we'd be happy to help you out in your journey.